everyone, my name's Taylor. I am the other half of the Adventureists. Sorry, I have not been in any videos yet. I have been very busy, but it's finally getting to be my point to start making content. So my first video now is just going to be relatively quick. As you can see, I'm currently in a hotel room. I'm actually at the Glamping show USA. So today was the first day that I went. Today was their Tuesday event. So I went to several different speakers today and it was really interesting. I've learned a lot. So I'm just kind of gonna go through all of the different speakers that I went to today and just a couple little things that I've learned that I thought were really helpful that I think any of you might find helpful as well. So the first speaker that I went to was called The Guest Experience, and the host of that was Honey Trek, Ann and Mike. I had never heard of them, which I kind of wish I could have before, but they are this amazing couple that went on a year-long honeymoon around the world, and I think I said that was in like 2014, and they're still kind of going. So they have stayed over 450 nights in different glamping around the world. So they were an excellent resource to kind of tell about the guest experience and different places that stood out and what is the best thing that you can do to really be a great experience to your guests. So I just wrote a couple things that stood out to me. They really reiterated that we are the gateway to the environment. This really hit home. It's not something I think about every day, but I forget that this is glamping. We're gonna have a lot of people that have never really been in the outdoors. So this is kind of our gateway to show them how incredible it is. I know with our market, we're trying to get a lot of people from Phoenix up to that area because a lot of people in Phoenix have never been to the Grand Canyon. So that's really important to me. So it's kind of cool to have these city folk that we're going to be showing the environment to. So just always keep that in mind, that we are the gateway to the environment for these people. So we want them to be ambassadors of the natural world. So that's really important. Another thing they said that was really cool is to have your build out story shared. This is really fun for guests. We actually stayed in a yurt the other night and they had a whole little booklet of pictures on when they were making it and all this stuff, and their dog lazily laying down while they were doing everything, and it was just really cool. It was really thoughtful and you really connected to the host, and I thought that was really fun, and that's something that we really want to do as well because we're putting in all this work and it's kind of fun to share everything that we've done. Another thing they said is to have snacks. This one seems like a no-brainer, but it is crazy how many Airbnbs and how many places I've stayed where all they kind of offer is coffee and tea, which is great, but to have a little extra something, they said even a granola bar or oatmeal are all you need, and I really do think that is really special. One time I did stay at an Airbnb where they included an entire snack basket with like 10 different things, and I mean it really hit me. Like I will not forget that experience. So just even things like that cost a couple dollars really make a difference. Another thing they said is to have a map of the property. This is not something I thought of, and I think it's really interesting just so guests know kind of where to go. Like our property is not going to be very big. It's just going to be about 6 acres, but it's still kind of fun to show like this is exactly where everything is. Like we want to have a viewing deck where you can stargaze, so it's nice to have like a little on the map show the path of that and everything. Another thing they said that was really cool and something that I want to incorporate is to have postcards of your property in the room, and then just let the guests know that they can write it out to someone and then you'll send it out for them. And this is just such a great marketing thing because you're going to have a beautiful picture of your property on the postcard, and then they're going to write this great message to send to a friend or family member who's going to get this thoughtful message that you're going to hand send out that has your company on it. So I think that's really fun and really great, and I'm a sucker for postcards. When I lived in New Zealand, I sent Cole so many postcards, and I just think that's super fun and a fun touch. And then another thing that I didn't think about is to make sure you list all your activities on your website, even if you have something like bocce ball or badminton. You think that's just a small thing, but list it because a lot of guests don't realize you have these things, and then to list them is very, very important. So those are just a couple things I learned from Honey Trek. It was a great talk. Such a sweet couple. So just a couple things that I'm going to incorporate that I think all of you should think about as well. The second speaker that I listened to today was Sherry from Sage Resort Appraisal and Consulting. So this talk wasn't as applicable to us because we already have our permit and we're kind of on our way, but if we had come to this conference a year earlier, I think it would have been really, really interesting. And it's not something that I even knew existed. So this company does feasibility studies. They'll actually kind of look at your land, look and make sure, it's a good land. It's not too rocky. It's not in floodplains, like things like that, to make sure it's a good thing for glamping. And then they'll also do like studies of like the area and is there going to be enough tourism, what are your competitors getting, and it just seemed like a really interesting study to do. And they'll even kind of tell you like roughly what nightly rates you can do, and just a lot of really cool information that probably would have been helpful. And this information I think is especially helpful if you want to get investors involved, because you'll have more metrics and more kind of information to give them. So I thought that was really cool. It's Sage Resort Appraisal and Consulting, if any of you want to look into them, if you want to know more about that. The third speaking event I went to today was called Adding Events to Boost Your Bottom Line. So this was set up a little differently. It had a moderator and then a panel of people. So the moderator was Todd from Monterey Hospitality Advisors, and then the panel included Mendocino Magic, Life Intense, and Shelter Co. So two of those, the Life Intense and Shelter Co., they actually are like an event company where they rent out their tents and equipment for events like weddings and all. So that wasn't super applicable what they had to say for us. But the Mendocino Magic, that was really interesting. They're this huge operation in Northern California, and they do all these really unique events. They do a lot of stargazing events. They host random things. She said they had like a pirate themed birthday party for a 5-year-old, and they do all these crazy things. And she said they do paintballing events, like just all this really cool stuff that I think would be fun to potentially incorporate into your glamp ground. They have a large operation, so it's a little bit easier to do some of these things, but just some of the little takeaways I thought would be interesting, that just events can be really great for your business. And then the last speaker we heard from today was Bailey from Cedarbound, and she gave a talk on breathe new life into your social media strategy. And I found this so beneficial, because even though I'm young, I am not a social media person. This is my first time on the camera, so I clearly am not one to really try to put myself out there. That's one of the things I'm going to manage. I would rather have it be more personal, and I want to be the one managing it rather than having an outside group do it. So I thought this stuff was really interesting, and it made me feel a little bit better about doing it, because it gave me the confidence that I could. Is just really get clear on your goals. Like, what is it that you're using the social media for? And then try not to sell. Obviously we're using social media to get more campers and revenue, but you don't want to be pushy. You don't want to just have all of your content about like, oh, this tent goes for this a night and we want you to stay. I think that could just be a little bit annoying. You want to have like really beautiful content without having it be like pushed down your throat, like stay with us, stay with us, stay with us. Another thing she talked about was sticky content. I had never heard this term before, but it's content that really grabs the attention of the audience. And she said reels and videos are really good for this. Polls, memes, and then also cute dogs, which honestly I think does work really well, because as soon as she put a picture of her dog, I automatically was like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And our Sparky and Molly are going to live with us, so I can't wait to have them be a part of our social media. And then this just made my like wheels turn. I'm like, oh my gosh, we could do like the Monday Mutt or the Wagon Wednesday or the Friday Fluff. Like we could incorporate, because we're going to be dog friendly, we can incorporate like a dog of the week or the different dogs that stay with us, and how cute and fun. And I don't know, I think it was really cool. Another thing she talked about was influencer partnerships. This is something we want to do. This makes me a little nervous, because influencers are like this whole group of people, like I don't know, like they do seem intimidating. But she said if you're going to choose influencers, just make sure that you're choosing people that kind of go with what you're wanting, be thoughtful in who you choose. And that's really interesting, because you don't necessarily want to just choose someone with 100,000 followers. That doesn't align with your business. Me and Cole have already talked about this. We really want to reach out to influencers in the Phoenix area, because we really want Phoenicians to come up and see the Grand Canyon. So that's something that we are going to try to do. And they said just make sure you have a written agreement, which is something I didn't think about. So, there's all this cool stuff that I'll have to look into, and how to even write that agreement. Another thing they talked about is social giveaways. I think this is a great marketing tool. I constantly see people on my Instagram reposting social giveaways. She said to make sure you make the entry easy and fun. I think this is really important because I see so many giveaways where they're like, tag 3 friends, and like, I don't have 3 friends to tag, so I think if I ever do a giveaway, I'll be like, tag 1 person, because I think that's easier. But I've already thought about a couple giveaways that I want to do once we open our campground. I think it's just such a good way to get people, to get your word out there, to get people like engaged. And then she said to make sure you post the social giveaways during peak engagement time. I haven't messed with analytics and stuff, but I guess there is a way to see when the peak engagement time is, and that's when you should be posting this type of stuff. So I think that's really cool. Another thing she said, which I never thought about either, was just show your face in your social media. Like, I didn't really want to put my face on the Walden social media. I just thought it was weird. I didn't want, because I've seen some brands where every post is the founder, and it just seems a little bit like, is this about your business or is this about you? And I never wanted to come across that way. It's all about Walden. Like, you guys don't need to, besides these videos, like, you don't really need to see my face. But she said that it does make it more personable. So maybe I'll be in a couple posts, but I don't need to be in every single one. I think that would be weird. She said to make sure you engage with your audience. I think that's really important. If people are commenting things, you should always comment back. I see a lot of companies do this, and I think it's really thoughtful and really awesome, and I think it's something that I'll definitely do. Lastly, something that I didn't really think about, because I'm not a social media person, I don't want it to consume my life, because I think it could be like very daunting for me, but there are several social media planning apps, she said, and then to do it in batches. So like once a month, create all your content for the upcoming month and just sit down like for one day to do that. That way, you know, you're not thinking about it constantly. So I thought all those tips were really, really interesting, and it makes me feel better about doing my own marketing. So just feel so much better about that, because that was one thing I was really worried about. Well, thank you all for listening to me ramble for the last 10 plus minutes. I just wanted to go over everything I learned from the glamping show today. I thought there was some really useful information that I never thought about that I just wanted to share with you all. I will hopefully be posting a video tomorrow with what I learned on the other speakers. So thanks so much for listening. Sorry I haven't been in any other videos. You will start seeing my face more and more, because I will be actually the one running Walden. So I'm excited, you know, now that I've learned more about this kind of stuff. I can't wait to do special videos about how I handle marketing, or how I handle the guest experience once we're up and running. So you'll see a lot more of me soon. Thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe, and just let me know if you like this video, or what else you'd like to see from me, and Cole too. I mean, he makes good videos as well. But thanks so much, and I will be seeing you tomorrow.